Okay, so make your way to standing. And when you arrive, look down at your feet and make a firm connection with your feet into the floor. Feel that connection of your feet pressing into the floor. And then from here, we're going to feel our breath in our body. So our breath is a resource for resilience. So as you're breathing, maybe as an inhale, you can feel your arms lifting out to your sides as a result of the breath lifting you up. And then as a result of the exhale, you lower the arms. Now this can be done at your sides, in front. You could use cactus arms. You're following your breath cycle. Just getting familiar with your breath in your body. Notice how when you inhale, you expand, and when you exhale, there's a slight contraction. You might even want to come to the balls of your feet on your inhale, and then when you exhale, lower your heels and your arms, hopefully together at the same time. So just practicing this at your own pace, noticing your inhale and noticing your exhale. And now we're going to add a little more concentration to this. So inhaling, and when you get to the top of your inhale, pause just for 2 counts. And then when you exhale, lower everything back in and down and notice that slight contraction. Inhale, expand across your chest, across your back body, and exhale, lower down. We're building a little bit of energy just with our breath. And one more of these, however it's showing up for you. Arms out to the side, up front, in cactus. Maybe the heels are lifted, maybe not. Pause for 2 counts at the top of the inhale and lower the arms down on the exhale. And maybe you want to shake things out. So maybe if that woke up your legs a little bit, maybe shake them out. Do some bouncing. This is called rebounding. Really good for resetting the nervous system. So just kind of bounce things around, shake things out. We're going to come to Warrior One. So the left foot will be forward. Place your hands on your hips and take your right foot back. Now this doesn't have to be huge. Just making sure that you're not on a tightrope, but you're more on 2 train tracks so that there's space for your pelvis. Warrior One is really a spinal extension, axial extension. So sometimes it's a back bend, but today I want you to just focus on the axial extension. So when we start to expand across our chest, either in cactus or arms overhead, whatever's feeling appropriate for you in this practice, we'll bend into the front foot, making sure that our front knee is aligned with our second and third toe. So you may need to adjust the stance. So you may need that back heel to go back a little bit more. Using the same breath pattern, we'll inhale and expand and broaden through our chest. Pause for 2, and then exhale, and the knee will start to unbend. We're not making it come to straight, we're just going to unbend it. So if you want to add the arms, once you feel stable, you can add them up overhead. Pause for 2 counts, exhale, lower the arms. It can come to cactus, inhale, lift your chin and lift your gaze. Exhale. Every time you exhale, notice how the navel draws towards the spine. Following your breath 2 more times. You can do whatever you want with your hands. It's your choice. Lift your chin, lift your gaze on the inhale, and exhale. Feel that axial extension. Feel that pause. Now place your hands on your hips. We'll step the back foot, bend into the front knee, step the back foot up to meet the front one. Before we go to the other side though, let's just notice, we've only done one pose, but you might notice a difference. So go into your mind, so practice that pause, and notice any difference in sensations between the left and right side. And then when you're ready, you'll step the other foot back. Again, making sure that you've got enough space for your pelvis, and making sure that when you bend into this front knee, that it's aligned with your second and third toe. From here, it's all up to you what you want to do with your upper body. And sometimes you might just want to keep your hands on your hips, pressing your hands into your pelvic bones so that you really get that lift of the rib cage off of your hips. When you're ready to add the breath, maybe you add movement. You inhale, pause for 2, and exhale. Keep a steady gaze, soft eyes. Feel that expansion across your chest. And then as you exhale, feel the slight contraction. You might notice there's a little bit of a wobble, but don't allow that front knee to be wobbling too much. If it is, shorten your stance. Inhale. When you get to the top of your inhale, pause for 2, and then exhale and unbend the front knee. And then bend into the front foot. Bring the back foot up to meet it. Notice how you're feeling. We've done both sides now, but they may not feel equal in terms of the sensations that you're noticing. We'll go back to the first side. So stepping the right foot back, and again, making space, left and right. Now this time we're going to elongate forward. So the tailbone and the top of the crown of the head are in one line. So hands on hips helps me make sure that I'm in that nice neutral alignment of my spine, and I'm going about halfway, and my knee is going to bend to any amount that feels safe in my body. And then when I'm ready, I'll exhale, draw my navel towards my spine, and then inhale to come up. So get tall here, get broad across your chest. Inhale, exhale, coming forward, knowing your body, how much does that front knee want to bend? Exhale, navel draws towards the spine, and we inhale, press into the feet to come back up. Now we can add the warrior 1 to this. So we'll inhale, bend into the front knee, come into warrior 1, pause for 2 counts, exhale, bring our hands to our hips. Inhale, lean forward. Pause, exhale. When you're ready to inhale, press into your feet to come back up. So follow your breath here. Really connect internally with your breath. Notice how it feels in your body. You're guiding your breath with these movements. But the breath leads, and then the body is sort of the external expression of the breath. So what do you want to do with your arms to express your breath? Now an invitation here would be to stay. I actually brought some blocks today. You might have a chair nearby, or if you have blocks, this would be a great time to use those blocks. You can line them outside on making a frame for that front foot. And when we're pausing and when we're staying here, we're still breathing naturally in and out. There's no holding of the breath. And we're taking our gaze straight down so that we've got length in the back of our neck. And then when you're ready, you're going to bend into the front knee, place your hands on your hips, lift yourself back up. Now step the front foot up to meet the back foot up to meet the front foot. We'll pause here and notice any difference in sensations from one side to the other. And if you need to, maybe you need to do some bouncing or shaking. And when you're ready, we'll switch to the other side. So you may or may not want to use blocks. I love using blocks, so I usually always have them handy, and I very often have a chair nearby. So align yourself first. Place your hands on your hips just to get started. And when you're ready, we'll extend and open up on the inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to lean forward. Again, you know how much you want to ask of your hamstrings. So whether you need to bend your knee a lot or a little doesn't matter. It matters that you're listening to your body. When you're ready, you'll exhale here, Contract navel to spine, and then inhale with a long spine. So keep your gaze forward. You already know what you're doing here, so you don't need to keep looking up. Then you'll inhale, exhale, lean forward, long neck. Exhale, navel towards spine. Inhale, press into the heels especially, but press into the feet to lift you up. And now we're gonna add that warrior one component. So we'll bend into the front knee and lift the arms. Again, this can be done in cactus or however it feels supportive to you. And then we'll exhale, hands to hips. We'll inhale and exhale, lean. Exhale here. When you're ready, inhale, press into your feet, draw your body up. Find your flow. So you know what you're doing now. So now connect with it internally. How does it feel on the second side? What are you noticing now that you didn't notice on the first side? And when you come forward this time, the invitation is to stay in the pose. Maybe using your blocks, or maybe putting your hands on your chair, maybe leaving your hands right where they are, on the hips. Maybe that feels appropriate for you. Making sure there's no tension in your neck, so you might want to look from side to side, doing a soft no from side to side. Maybe you need to put more bend into the front knee. Maybe you can start to straighten it a little bit more. It does not have to be straight. Make sure that the toes are not gripping here. No gripping in the toes. And when you're ready, bend into the front knee, inhale and lift yourself back upright. And now step forward with the back foot and come forward. Notice what's happening in your body right now. So we've done some breathing so far, that nourishing energy. You might be feeling that now. You might feel a little more vibrant and alive, especially across the heart center. So we're gonna move on and we'll bring our feet wide. We'll place our hands, again, back to our hip bones. We'll inhale here, get broad, expand through the chest, let the elbows reach out towards the sides, and then we're gonna come forward. Now you can bend your knees here, and we'll come forward about halfway. And then we'll inhale, coming back up. Exhale, coming again, just halfway. So you're looking down towards the floor, but you've got length through the backs of your ears. Inhale to come back up. Exhale. This time you may want to come a little bit further. So if halfway felt good, stay there. If you want to go a little bit further, go to maybe 2/3, 3/4 of the way. The knees can stay bent. The knees can start to come towards straighter. So you can unbend the knees a little bit if that's supportive for your back. When you're ready, press down into your feet, contract navel towards spine, inhale and come back up. Now our feet are in alignment for warrior two. So picking up the right ball of your foot and turning it out at a 90-degree angle. We're gonna bend into that front knee to any degree that feels appropriate for you. And notice how the hips are gonna stay right directly in the center. So I'm not taking my hips with me. I'm not taking my waist or my rib cage with me when I'm moving. I'm not moving any of this. It's stationary. All I did was bend into my front knee. Place your hands in front of your heart, and we're gonna flow a little bit here. So extend your arms out, and when you inhale, we're gonna unbend the front knee and bring the hands back to the heart. Bend into the front knee and then unbend into the front knee. Notice how I keep pressing into my back heel. So there's connection throughout the body. So it's not just about if the arms are moving, then that's where the flow of energy goes. No, it's throughout the entire body. The body is the resource for resilience. So we're asking a little bit of controllable, predictable challenge, and we're strengthening our body, and we're allowing the body to be an expression of our breath. And now from here, pause and hold your warrior two. Don't pause your breath, just allow the breath to be a natural inhale, natural exhale. And now we're going to find a bit of a side angle. So we don't have to go very deep into this. Just relax the front hand to the front knee. And then with the back hand, take your gaze over to the back hand and we'll extend it along the horizon, and then the fingertips come over the face. We can follow with our eyes, and then when we exhale, the fingertips again track over the horizon and come back behind us. Now if that's too much, if it's too tricky for your balance, then find one place in front of you. Allow the eyes to find a focal point and stay there. And you can still then move the arm. Now if you've got shoulder issues, you can do this in cactus. So it would be done with just a smaller range of movement for the arm. So these are just options. When you inhale, get a full breath, full inhale, and pause for 2 counts. And then exhale. If the eyes are okay, track the eyes to the hand. 2 more. Inhale. Fully extend through the arm. If it's okay for your arm, feel that on your side body. And then exhale. Allow the hand to come back to your side. Now place your hands on your hips and just unbend that front foot. Bring that foot around in center and pause here. So we just asked a lot of our side body on the right side, and we asked a lot of both of our legs, but maybe you noticed the work that was done on the right leg, on the left leg, left leg. So just see if any of that has some radiant sensations in your body. Just see if that's showing up for you right now. And then when you're ready, pick up the ball of the right foot, angle it out, and from here, we'll place our hands again at our chest. When we exhale, we'll bend into the knee and extend the arms across. Feel that length across the shoulders and across the chest as you breathe. And then bring the hands back to center, unbend the front knee. And continuing on with your own breath. Now, if you feel like maybe the breath is confusing, maybe you're over breathing, if you're having any sensations of lightheadedness or just overwhelm in this point, then let go of thinking of the breath with every movement. Continue with the movement, and then eventually maybe you bring in awareness of one breath cycle. And now from your warrior 2, just allow this front hand to make its way to the front leg. Now, if you feel so inclined, go ahead and go to, maybe you want to go further into the side angle stretch. That's fine. Maybe you want to use your blocks. Know what's appropriate for you. Know why you want to do something more. If it ends up making you round forward, I suggest you come back up, because the point of this is to find the space in our body, to take up more space and to feel our breath in our body. So I'm going to invite you, and I'm just going to leave my hand at my front knee. And then with my back hand, I'm going to find the fingertips as they come out and around and then overhead. Now, if that's upsetting, again, you can come to cactus. We're creating space. If we get bound up, then we've lost that connection with the space that we're trying to create. And we're going to exhale. The eyes can track the hand, or if it's too much, just look straight ahead. And I'm going at my breath pace, which may be too slow or too fast for you. I pause for 2 counts at the top of my inhale, and then I exhale smoothly. So I'm like drinking in the essence of my breath. I'm allowing my breath to nourish me with energy. And now when you're ready, you'll slowly unbend that front knee and bring yourself back forward. Now we'll come into a bit of a twist. So you may want to have your chair in front of you, or if you have blocks, or even if you had like a step stool or something, you could place that in front of you. I'm going to place my blocks on their highest end. I'm going to place my hands on my hips to get started. I'm going to inhale and roll my shoulders up and back. I'm gonna exhale, come forward, and I'm gonna place my left hand to the center of my blocks. I've got 2 here, you could maybe just use 1. And from there, I'm gonna start to open up and lift my top hand. Now, if you try that and it doesn't feel supportive or healthy for you, then you would just bring your hand back to your hips. Breathe here. And if you're feeling any constriction, bend into both knees and then maybe unbend the right knee. So keep a slight bend in the left knee, maybe straighten or go towards straight with the right knee. And the face can look down if it's causing any tension. And then bringing that top hand down. Pause in the center. So keeping your face looking forward, we're just pausing in the center here. And then when you're ready, placing that right hand on your block. And with an inhale, turn and open up. And again, when you get there, it may not feel supportive. And if that's the case, then that hand can come to the hip. It can also come to just the top of your hips, so right in the middle. And from here, you don't have to push, but you might find some more leverage with that bottom hand. And if you want to open up using that bottom hand leverage, allow yourself to do that with grace. And again, you might want to bend into the knees, and then you may want to unbend more on the left leg, keeping the bend more on the right leg. These are just options. See what happens for you. This is all about finding different sensations. If the top hand was lifted, then on an exhale, bring that hand to meet its mate on the blocks, on the chair, maybe on the floor. From here, bend both knees, place your hands to your hips, and with an inhale, lift your spine back upright. Step your feet in just a little bit. And we're gonna come into another twist for the upper body. So come into sort of a catcher stance here. So the feet are quite wide, the knees are bent quite deeply, and we're gonna lean into one side. So we're gonna tilt the shoulder towards the floor, and then we're gonna take our gaze up over the back shoulder. And then exhale, come to center, and then do the other side. So we're leaning now the right shoulder towards the floor as the left shoulder, and our gaze looks up over the left shoulder. And going back and forth at a slow pace for you, slow, rhythmic pace for you. And where do you notice this twist? Where does it feel healthy for you? If you notice it somewhere and it doesn't feel appropriate, maybe you've gone too far, that would be the challenge that's too much. We want the challenge that's controllable, predictable. We want movements that are rhythmic and fluid. Coming center, pause in the center, and then walk your hands up your legs and come back to standing. And before we move on, pause here in the center and notice how you're feeling. You might feel some heat building in the legs. You might feel heat in the upper body. You might feel more space in your upper body. Just noticing any resilient sensations that are showing up for you. If you had some blocks, you might want to move those out of the middle of your space. So now bring your feet closer together, and we're going to come into chair pose. So you'll bring your fingertips towards the floor. They do not need to touch the floor. They come towards the floor, and then you lift your arms up either to shoulder height or maybe overhead if that's available, or to cactus pose if that's not available. We pause here, we press into our heels, we lift up, and then we get balanced on one foot and maybe lift the other foot up. And then we lower that foot down, we come back into chair, press down the heels, lift up, finding balance on the other side as we lift the other foot up. And again, find the rhythm of your breath and let that rhythm nourish you. So we're finding challenge, but if we are supportive and supporting to ourselves, and we build our resilience. So use your muscles, use your legs, use your breath, use your focus. Now this time, if you're finding balance is really difficult, you can stay on your toes, but this time I'm going to encourage you to start to lean forward. Now again, those hands can come to the hips, and you can drag that opposite toe back, get a long line. Think of the line being from the back toes all the way through the crown of your head. And we're coming into what might start to look like a warrior three. What you do with your arms, there's so many variations. You can leave your hands right here on your hips. You can lift off. You can kind of feel like you're an airplane. You can take your arms forward. That's pretty challenging. You could take your arms back behind you. You could come to your blocks if you want some support here. Whatever you feel like you need, just making sure that you're still finding that length. And then when you're ready, bend into the front foot a lot and allow the back toes to land, and then bring them forward. Pause before we go to the second side. What do you notice in that standing leg? What do you notice in the leg that was just balancing? Are you starting to connect with these sensations in your body? What did you notice in your breath? When you're ready, we'll switch to the other side. So first we're gonna find our balance by picking the opposite knee up any amount. And again, if balance is really tricky, find a wall. So give yourself the supports. Give yourself more awareness and information to settle the brain. If balance feels like it's gonna work out for you, then you can start to extend the back foot. Now they don't have to lift up all the way. You're just playing with this. So we kind of forget how to play when we get to be adults. So I'm encouraging you to just kind of play here. It doesn't have to look like anything specific. These are just options. So maybe it feels good for you to extend your arms in front of you. Maybe you want to lift the back leg a lot. Maybe it wants to hover. Give yourself permission to try things. Variety is the spice of life, right? And notice how focused you need to be to maintain this pose. Why? As I say that as I fall out. Why do we need so much focus? Well, we're training, right? All of this is practice. When you're ready, step the 2 feet together. We do these things over and over again, right? Rhythm, repetition. But when we change things up, it adds that spice of life. And so we do these over and over again, but it's not boring because we make it more interesting. We don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if today I'm gonna find that I'm really off balance. I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. But I'll be back and I'll keep practicing, and I hope that you keep practicing too. If you want to continue on, we'll be on the floor.